Daddies and mommies suck it. Sit in the stands, shut the living hell up. No one gives a rat's ass about you prancing around about your baby or you getting on the court taunting a superstar. It is not only disrespectful, it's ignorant and stupid. Giannis showed great restraint. Not good, great restraint. This was not a good reflection on our sport. What the frick have you ever done for our sport? What is our sport? You're not part of our sport. You're a little dude that got genetically lucky with a great kid. Maybe you raised the kid great. I don't know. The media is all over it, and Tyrese Haliburton goes viral. My thought is very simple. Don't let the guy in the gym. Now, you got to sit out the rest of the playoffs. You can't have your dumbass walking up on a player with your kid's towel, dropping F-bombs, and taunting a player. If you were Joey Bag of Donuts from the South Side, your ass would be banned from ever being on the field. Or, in the arena. Remember those Yankee fans that got involved in the playoffs over the wall with a ball? They got banned, or they took it out of his glove, or they hit his glove, or whatever the hell they did. They got banned. This is much worse. This is a dad of all things. Daddies and mommies suck it. Sit in the stands, shut the living hell up. No one gives a rat's ass about you prancing around about your baby or you getting on the court taunting a superstar who, by the way, handled himself with incredible class and incredible distinction. Let's get right into it. Here is a picture of the interaction between this moron, Tyrese Haliburton's dad, and Giannis. That's after. Now, you see the mother sitting there looking like, I don't know what the hell she looks like, but Haliburton's dad started this by walking up to the Greek freak, holding a towel, and basically right in the face that had Haliburton's son, and said, this is what we do. This is what we effing do. No, the dumbass dad doesn't do nothing. And Broomhilda over there, the mom, she eventually kind of shoves Giannis, which, man, oh man, lucky for all of them that Giannis didn't go Isaiah Stewart or Giannis didn't go whomever and start whooping ass, because Giannis in person is a big dude. Anyway, here's Giannis talking about what transpired.
This is the last time I'm going to say. I won't talk a lot. We lost the game. It doesn't really matter. One thing I'll say is that I believe being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you gotta talk shit and it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay? And that doesn't even say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort. But I remember when I won, my mom, that she's never missed the games from February 11th or 13th when she came in Milwaukee against the Knicks. She never missed a game. When we won the championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son? I see, except now my brother does media. For this year, he wants to come back and play. But except in that, you've never seen my family see courtside. See, this is not something that we do. We don't. I try to keep my family away from the game. But losing the game, emotions run high. Having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized it was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think, is a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This is the F we do. This. I feel like that's very, very disrespectful.
Well, it is not only disrespectful, it's ignorant and stupid. And a lot of people are reacting to it. Here, to his credit, though, I've said this, Tyrese Haliburton is a great dude. A great dude. And here is Haliburton's response to it.
As far as the incident between Giannis and my pops, I had no idea it happened until I got to the back and was showed the video. Me and my pops have talked about that, and I don't agree with what transpired there from him. I think basketball is basketball, and let's keep it on the court. And I think that he just got excited, saw his son make a game winner, and came on the court. But I think we had a conversation, and I think he just needs to just allow me to just play basketball, stay over there. I'll come to him to celebrate. But I think just the emotions of the game just got excited there. But I talked with him. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there, and unfortunate what happened in the end there. But I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth, and that's just part of this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
There you go. That's pretty good. That kid is classy. That kid has been nothing but class. I love this tweet after the game. Overrate that. No, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I mean, the dad's an idiot. The kid's a great dude. All right, here's Charles Barkley. And if you listen to Shaq here, Shaq's a moron. Now, he just is. I mean, he's like that little kid, the big kid in the neighborhood who just keeps saying what he wants to say. That's my big fat kid in the neighborhood voice. All right, here's Shaq being a child, Barkley and Kenny trying to explain Shaq's just being stupid.
No, he's not supposed to be on the court.
It don't
He's
matter.
not supposed to be on the court.
Giannis talked to him. Forget all that.
No, he was on the court.
So what?
You think he said something? He probably didn't know who his dad is.
Stop it. Giannis said something to him.
No, because he's on the court in his face.
So what? Everybody on the court.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
No,
Everybody
you cannot do that.
Giannis said something to him.
So you think his dad was correct? His dad was 100% wrong.
Giannis is wrong? Bro, Giannis said something to him.
No, he did not. No, I'm just telling you. That dad is an idiot, and if you think he's an idiot, you're an idiot too. I will say that no.
His dad is always on the court.
No, I will say this. We all have met his dad, and he has.
His dad's always on the court.
He shouldn't be on the court.
You don't have an entitlement because your son is playing to be on the court.
Hold on, time out. He's always on the court.
He shouldn't be on the court.
I don't care. He's always on the court.
He should not be on the court talking to other players.
Bro, Giannis said something to him. He didn't say nothing to Giannis. No, he did not.
No, that's not true.
He couldn't have said
walking in the line behind his son.
What do you mean walking in line behind his son? He shouldn't be on the court. He didn't play in the game.
Always on the court.
No, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be.
On the court.
No,
there's no entitlement for that.
On the court.
Yeah, how'd that go for everybody? Of course he shouldn't be on the court. I mean, I don't know what Shaq is thinking. Shaq's always an interesting cat. Ryan Clark has something interesting for once. I have a hard time disagreeing with Ryan Clark here. Here's Ryan Clark's reaction.
You want to talk about the basketball, but to me, the basketball is secondary. Because you're supposed to protect your players. Everything is about the shield in the NFL, and part of that shield is the people that are on the field. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is a Finals MVP. This is an MVP of the league. This is the first ballot Hall of Famer, and you got John Haliburton running on the court acting like Gilly the Kid at a Philly game, right? That just can't happen. And kudos to Giannis Antetokounmpo of being the type of man that he is. Because I know a ton of football players, and the first thing I thought when they were face-to-face was headbutting. Right? Because if you're going to allow people on the court, if you're going to allow fans to be face-to-face with players, then players should get to protect themselves against those fans and against those people. And I believe he should never be allowed to be at another basketball game. He shouldn't be allowed. He shouldn't get to come to the suite.
Come to the building.
Punish him. Yeah. Right? If you're going to run on the court, if you're going to be big and bad, if you're going to put yourself above the game, don't come to the game, ever. You have to make a stand so no one else does this.
No, I agree. I don't necessarily agree any basketball game, but certainly an NBA basketball game and maybe even a Pacers basketball game. I can whittle this down if you'd want, but hey, look, he's right about that. Giannis showed great restraint. Not good, great restraint. And football players, we've seen it all the time. Dude runs onto the field. Mike Curtis, going back to the 70s, started at number 32, middle linebacker for the Colts, just knocking the dog out of a guy running on the field. A lot of people have. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we saw Malice in the Palace. What happened? That one fan squared off. I think it was against Jermaine O'Neal, and Jermaine O'Neal dropped him. Look, you want to go on the court. You're angry. You're taunting. Get ready. John Haliburton got lucky. Now, Haliburton, he said this: I sincerely apologize to Giannis, the Bucks, Pacers organization for my actions following tonight's game. This was not a good reflection on our sport. What the frick have you ever done for our sport? What is our sport? You're not part of our sport. You're a little dude that got genetically lucky with a great kid. Maybe you raised the kid great. I don't know. Our sport? What the hell have you done? No, it's your son's sport. You haven't done shit. Nothing. I guess you were a referee, maybe, of youth leagues. Yay, rah, go fight, win. But they're at now, obviously, I will not make that mistake again. Well, you shouldn't be allowed to make that mistake again. You know, here's the deal. John Haliburton, because of his son, is given seats right there under the basket. There's not a chance in hell he pays for them. He's given them. And he abused a privilege. You know, like most people, no good deed goes unpunished. You know that's one of my mantras. Well, Pacers did a good deed, gave Daddy tickets right under the basket. And it went punished. No good deed goes unpunished. Well, he violated a privilege that he had. And it's not a hard privilege. You didn't make the game winner. Yes, you're excited. Jump up and down. Let your wife yell, my baby, and all that stuff. Draw attention to yourself. And I know what I'm speaking. My son hit a massive shot, half-court shot, at the first half buzzer to send the Schottenstein Center in a frenzy. It was Ohio State against number 1 in the country, Michigan State. And Andrew drilled it. And I knew all eyes were going to be on me. So I didn't act like a jackass. I just went like that. Baby, you don't have to act like a dumbass. You don't have to act like you did it because you didn't do it. You didn't do shit. You're a good dad because Haliburton's a good kid, you and your wife. But don't give me this bullshit, our sport. Now, I agree more with Ryan Clark than I do anything else. He'll be there in game 2. The cameras will be on him. I'm sure in his little walk of life and the people he hangs out with, he's a hero. I'm sure there will be he didn't back down to Giannis. What's Giannis supposed to do? Pick his little ass up, throw it on the ground, and knee him in the nuts? Come on. Driving me crazy. Hey, I've said this before, and I'll say this again, and I won't stop saying it. Guys and girls, this applies to both. Sometimes there's that hot dude that a girl likes, or sometimes there's that hot woman that a guy likes, and boy, are they pretty. Oh my gosh, are they pretty. And one of two things happens when you talk to them. They either get prettier, or you don't care how pretty they are or how handsome they are. You're running for the hills, baby. You're going out of here. Hasta la vista. He gone. You know what I'm saying? That happened to me in college. I'm sure it happened from some girls with me in college because I'm incredibly handsome. But, you know, sometimes this gruff D's, them, and does turns people off. However, it did happen to me in college. C33, Walnut Knolls. We used to peek out the window. Oh, there she is. Finally, she wanted to date Double Dizzle. It's great. Until it wasn't. Too much. Too many insecurities. You know what I'm saying? It happens, men and women. But Bill Belichick has taken this to a new level. Run! Run, Joey, run! Run, Billy, run! According to reports, Belichick's crazy-ass 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, was instrumental in stopping UNC football from appearing on Hard Knocks. Boo, we say, the Nick and Nicks. Boo, the conversation took a turn. This is going to be the NFL talking. The conversation took a turn we were not comfortable with, NFL Vice President of Commercial Operations and Business Affairs Jessica Bodie, who was also one of the show's executive producers, wrote in an email to the school obtained by The Athletic. While it's unclear how Hudson helped prevent the project from happening, The Athletic's reporting states that her role in stopping the production was instrumental. According to multiple industry sources briefed on the negotiations. The report also details how Belichick was seemingly on board with the project initially, and the halted production costing North Carolina $200,000 in facility fees and even more by way of exposure. Man, look, I get it. We're all God's children. There are 24-year-olds that are brilliant, but let's be honest. Belichick, at 72 years old, should know his way around what is right and what is wrong for a football program. And if he needs a little 22-year-old who's got all kind of publicity and she's really full of herself, you can tell. I mean, any idiot could tell that. Well, what are you doing, Bill? Like, seriously, what are you doing? You're iconic for your single focus, laser focus on winning football games. No outside drama other than the occasional divorce. Now you got some little moron running around in high heels, in boots in practice, like she owns the joint. Man, this is absolutely embarrassing for Belichick, embarrassing for North Carolina. Now, it's all solved, obviously, one way. Tell me, say it with me. Just win, baby. If you win, you're rolling. If you win, nobody gives a rat's ass about any of this stuff. But he ain't won yet. And by all accounts, it's not like he has set the portal/recruiting world on fire. Mike Lombardi, his general manager and longtime friend, had this to say. It would have been great. Problem was that we control the story we need to tell here. And the story that we want to tell doesn't end after we play TCU. The story that we want to tell is about how we're rebuilding the program, how we're going to honor the great players that have come before us, how we're going to restore the Tar Heel football program. That's the story we want to tell. Well, I'm sure Mac Brown's appreciative of that. I'm sure Mac Brown, who is the icon of North Carolina football and was rightfully let go. I mean, he's about half-ass into the job like he was at ESPN. I mean, I get it, but really? That's the story we're going to tell? I wonder what the ceiling is. Now, for me, guy comes into Indiana, takes over a god-awful program where they had to fire the coach because he couldn't win a game in the Big Ten, and next thing you know, they're in the college football playoff. Every program's different, but what's going to happen here? Anything short of that is just meh, because we've seen that out of Kurt Cignetti. We've seen get from nothing to the college football playoff. What are you going to do? Like, what's going to make this story interesting? They may have at North Carolina caught a break. Here's also Lombardi. And when it stops after the first game like Hard Knocks does, it doesn't really do any good to tell that story. And that really was the concern that we had here in the building. We're storytellers. When you let them in the building, we're going to tell a story. And the story we want to tell about now how we're working to build this program. And we're going to work hard to recruit and do all that. And that extends into September, October, November. It can't stop at Labor Day. I think that was more the issue. That makes a little bit of sense. No, that does. That does make a little bit of sense to me. It makes a little bit of sense from the standpoint of let's see how this plays out. But if you are Bill Belichick and you understand Hard Knocks, why wouldn't you want them there in spring ball as you're, quote, building the program? Why wouldn't you want them there as you're trying to make a difference in recruits going to North Carolina or going to an Indiana or maybe a USC or maybe a Florida State? You get the point. Why wouldn't you want them in there if you are not going to be embarrassed by it, if you're not going to have to continually answer for some little 24-year-old girl? I mean, why? Why wouldn't you want them there when you're actually building the process? You're building the operation. I don't know. I mean, the girl did go to Bridgewater State. I don't even know what that is. News of Hudson's alleged involvement in ending the Hard Knocks project comes amid a week in which she has made headlines for interrupting a Belichick interview on CBS Sunday Morning, shutting down a question about how she and her 73-year-old boyfriend first met. TMZ later reported that the former Bridgewater State, Bridgewater State, so she knows stuff, interfered in the interview multiple times and became so heated at one point she stormed off the set, delaying production for approximately 30 minutes. I'm leaving. I'm taking my boots and my hair and my nails and my eyelashes, and I'm out of here. You know what I said? Okay, see you later. What you got? Ask me a question. Mad Dog Russo ain't messing around with all this. Here's Mad Dog Russo on the relationship.
To talk about his book. I mean, he's just not going on here to talk about this girlfriend of his, and that's number two. And listen, I'll be careful here because I don't want to come across, but I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. If Kira Russo came, and she's the same age, if she came home, Dad, can we go out to dinner with my new boyfriend? Yeah, all right, Kira, where do you want to go? Well, we got to have the early bird special. Well, what do you got to watch? The early bird special. No, we got to have the early bird. We got to go out to dinner at 5 o'clock? Really? If it means that much to you, Kira, we'll go out to dinner, we'll have a Manhattan, and we'll go out to dinner at 5 o'clock if it means that much to you. And then she comes home, she gets out of the door, and the boyfriend is 10 years older than me. I'd say, honey, what are you doing here? And here's another thing. Do you think there is any shape, way, or form that Bill would allow a coach or a player or his mentor Parcells, a coach or a player, to wear high heels running to a football practice? Can you see Bill Parcells allowing an assistant coach or a player to go to the conclusion of a practice at MetLife with his young girlfriend who's wearing heels? Are you kidding me? Bill would go crazy. Hey, this is we're working. Let's go. I mean, my goodness gracious. And her scenario there last week with, we're not going there. And the idea, I guess she kept CBS waiting for 30 minutes. That was a complete disaster. I mean, this girlfriend of his, I'm sorry. She's a young kid. She's 24 years of age. She knows nothing about the media spotlight, especially the sports media spotlight. And it looks like she's got Bill twirled around his finger. Let's call it like we see it. This is a talk show. That's what it looks like to me.
I was listening to this live as I was driving home from my afternoon show, and I thought it was awesome. Hey, let's call it what we see it. Yeah, let's do it. It does make Bill Belichick look bad, and I'm not one of those that normally says that, but it does make him look like a moron. And he's like There was a show I watched last night. Actually, it was 2.5 Men, and the wife of a really old guy who was in a wheelchair is being led around as she has an affair with Alan. And I remember that made me think of Bill Belichick. This girl's like leading him around. Well, you're Bill Belichick, for crying out loud. Former Patriot Ted Johnson. He says, hey, man, fire his ass. I hold college coaches to a higher standard than I do NFL coaches. When it comes to morally, they are supposed to be leaders of men. Set a good example, that kind of thing. So that leads me to what's going on at UNC with Bill Belichick. I think the Tar Heels should consider firing Bill Belichick. That's just stupid. They should let him go at this point. It's a lot of money, and they're deep into, obviously, their preparation for next year. But I look at Bill Belichick, and I wonder if he's fit to coach an NFL team, let alone to coach a college team, which, again, I put more onus on the character and personality and just overall character, if you will, of a college coach than I do a pro coach. So I'm worried that Bill Belichick just isn't fit to coach college kids, and UNC should consider cutting ties with Bill Belichick. Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Like, all you're seeing is what us in the media want you to see. Who knows what he's building inside that program? Who knows what he's actually building among his team, among the players? Ted Johnson doesn't know his ass from third base. Nobody does, except the players actually there. So you're going to fire him for what? What are you going to fire him for? Because his girlfriend got mad at an interview? Because they turned down doing Hard Knocks? I mean, if you're going to talk morally, who are you as a moral judge? Wait a second. I thought love is love. You think anybody would be having these conversations at all if an older football coach were gay and he had a young boyfriend? No. But Bill Belichick has become easy. He's become on the wrong side of the media. It's like I always tell people in Indiana, you want clout? Mention my name. You'll get clout. I'm on the wrong side, all you idiots. I mean, it's just the way it is. So Ted Johnson, shut up. I mean, damn, you're going to fire a guy who is absolutely the best football mind. He's proven this, at least when he has Tom Brady, to lead a program that hasn't been interesting in years. Like, ACC Network tried to make Mac Brown interesting. He wasn't. ESPN had Mac Brown doing his games. Hell, he left because he had a flight when a game went to overtime. Mac Brown's been retired for years. Now, at least you got somebody in there that makes people talk about, look at it, maybe even give money towards North Carolina football, always overshadowed by basketball. So, ex-big stupid football player, shut up. Now, just shut up. Nick Wright, I don't know Nick Wright. Nick Wright was nasty to me once on Twitter. He called me something. I don't even know. I don't pay attention. I've never seen Nick Wright on TV. Nick Wright, apparently, a Fox, I guess, doesn't appreciate Saquon Barkley calling out his haters for visiting Donald Trump. Really? Wright says Barkley is either naive, disingenuous, or dumb to be surprised by the Trump visit reaction. You know, here's something that I've said, and I know Nick Wright, I think he's black, white, I don't know, whatever he is, whatever he identifies as, good for him. But I asked this the other day, and I'll ask Nick Wright the same thing. What's Donald Trump done to make African Americans say that he is attacking them? I had one lady say, well, don't act so naive. Okay, that's not an answer. Give me the answer. I said, I got 29 responses. Jemele Hill stated this administration has been very specific about their attacks on black people. I'm curious, what specific attacks has the Trump administration put on black people? Okay. Lady says, you know what the heck she's talking. No, I don't. Don't play dumb. I said, I really don't. Please give me specifics. See, this is Nick Wright. I mean, guys have to pander, and it works. Like my wife always says, I should identify as a woman. I'd have every network job there is. So guys pander. All right, let's hear it. This was not that. In your personal time, striking up a personal relationship with a sitting president of the United States is a political decision. No, it's not. It's kind of cool. I mean, look, true story. I remember when I learned Reagan was a Republican when I was just out of college. I didn't know. I didn't care. But if not knowing his politics and Reagan wanted to meet me and hang out, hell yeah, I'm going. I don't care about his politics. I mean, I don't know what the problem is with these folk. These folk here that criticize, and I'm talking black and white, so, I get it. We mince words and then we do that stuff. But I'm talking black and white. There's a lot of white people are criticizing Saquon Barkley. These liberal folk that are so bent out of shape, all they're trying to do is what they've tried to do the last 4 years, squelch, embarrass, cancel. That's all they got. Not one single person. And the tweet has been up there for a day. Not one single person has given me any specific attack on black people, anything racial that this president, this administration has done. Flatly. No, not flatly, just because you say that. And when you opt into that arena, folks are going to assume that you either share some values or whatever they think is the most objectionable thing about a politician, that you don't have the same issue with it they do. Well, so what? What is that? Okay, somebody's hating on him. Great. Okay. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe like 99% of us that aren't insane liberals pandering to a certain community, maybe Saquon Barkley just thinks it's cool to play golf with the President of the United States. Be an interesting day. What you can't do is play woe is me. He didn't play woe is me. Why is everyone acting like this is a big deal? You got to be smarter than that. Saquon's a smart guy. To act shocked by that reaction is either naive, disingenuous, and dumb. And I don't know which one you want to be. Why is a guy named Nick Wright? Why is Nick Wright the judge and jury? All right, I'm going to read Barkley's stance. You tell me where he's saying, woe is me. You tell me. LOL. That's not woe is me. Some people are really upset I played golf and flew to the White House with the, in quotes, president. Like, that is an example of him saying, dude, it's the freaking president of the United States. Where's woe is me, Nick, right? Maybe I just respect the office. I would have. Swear to God. 25 years old, Reagan asked me, or Carter, or whoever. Somebody said, you want to play golf with the president? Hell yeah. I didn't have any idea, nor did I care about any of their politics. In fact, I would argue until recently, really until the open border, I didn't care about any of it. I didn't. And maybe Barkley doesn't either. Now, because Nick Wright gets upset about it, because all the usual race baiters, including Wright and Jemele Hill and all the other get mad about it, I don't make him wrong. Hell, it'd be cool to play golf with the president of the United States. I just respect the office, right? Where's woe is me? Now, I just respect the office. Why is an explanation, woe is me, to when people hate on you, Nick, right? I don't know. Just golfed with Obama not too long ago and look forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now, get out of my mentions with the politics and have an amazing day. There's no woe is me there. It's amazing how people turn things. It's fascinating. I get it every day. Guy comes at me. I come back. I know what's coming next. Whoa, I really struck a nerve with the truth there. No. He just came back and gave your side. What's wrong with that? His side was, I like playing golf with the president of the United States. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Nick, or others. And if you don't get that, well, there's a big difference between being a star running back and a race baiter on a network. There's a big difference. Oh, man, it's amazing. In a world full of people like Jalen Hurts, be a Saquon Barkley. Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, or be Jalen Hurts. Either way. Do whatever you want. That's a tweet from somebody. All right. Be whoever you want. I mean, but damn, at least be honest. There's no woe is me in Saquon Barkley. He doesn't look like woe is me here. He just simply saying, yo, here it is. I like the president. He asked me to play golf. The hell's the problem? People are weird, man. Failed ESPN and everything she does host, Jemele Hill, offered her take on Shedeur Sanders' draft slide over the weekend as he fell in the fifth round and was taken. Dismissing the narrative, this is odd for Hill. She must be nuts. She must have not taken her meds, her race meds. You got to have race meds or you got to have I don't know what the hell people take. But it's like, if I think clearly, things like this come out. Maybe we as black people need to accept the fact that Deion Sanders may have overplayed his hand a little bit. Really? And there's no crime in him infusing all the confidence in Shedeur. I was not bothered by the wrist flexing. None of that. NFL teams, if you're talented enough, they don't care. And we've seen that countless times. Oh, really? No kidding. But the person I really feel sorry for is Cam Ward. Cam Ward went number one. Cam Ward, this is all I've been saying, was a zero-star recruit. He's literally the best story in the draft from a two-parent home. With the way people have so embraced this narrative that Shedeur was done so wrong, like they're basically making Cam Ward sound like he's Steven from Django. Suddenly, he's painted in this light because, the NFL will accept that type of black, but not this type of black. It's like, do you know how many black players went ahead of Shedeur Sanders? It's a lot of them. Really? There you go. I mean, it ain't that hard. It really is not that hard. It's very easy. There's a good one. Good for you. It's been a rough week for Nike. This time, Nike's come under fire for a billboard that was shown at the end of the London Marathon that reads, "Never again until next year." A slogan that had ties to the Holocaust. The slogan has been used to warn the world to learn lessons from the Holocaust, and with Nazi Germany and their allies killed 6 million Jews, according to the Times of Israel. Here's the billboard. The amount of people that had to approve this ad from Nike and didn't notice anything wrong is insane. That's imagery. That's Nazi imagery. The idea that Nike would make light of the Holocaust using Hitler-red imagery in a post October 7th, well, it's stunning. Heads need to roll. WTF, Nike. Here's a rabbi response. The Nike advertisement was displayed at the end of the London Marathon. To take a slogan about the Holocaust and use it for entertainment, it's simply grotesque Nike. Just don't do it. Nike, of course, a statement. We did not mean any harm and sincerely apologize for any we caused. The London billboards were part of a broader campaign built on runners' insight and designed to motivate runners to push past what they think is possible. Nike condemns any form of anti-Semitism. The language should not have been used, and the billboards have come down, really. All right. Good for you, man. What? I mean, doesn't anybody there have a brain? Doesn't anybody there think outside of their own dumbass world? No, it's really stupid. No, it really is. It's idiotic.